of age. He is out of Fight Ready and Rugged Wrestling. Kyler Phillips, of course, a karate and jiu-jitsu fighter at 4-0, a jiu-jitsu champion representing Glendale, Arizona. John Crouch, MMA Lab, one of the only things you have to say when talking about any fighter. Of course, we were supposed to see Kyler Phillips and Clayton Carpenter, two of the top young prospects in the entire state, until Clayton got hurt in training camp. Escalante stepped up, and Kyler Phillips will face Escalante here. Let's go to Ralph right now.
And now calling to the crimson canvas, Marcos Escalante.
Marcos Escalante making his way to the cage, guys. An orthodox fighter fighting out of the blue corner. And here's a guy we just mentioned at 27 making his debut. We know he can wrestle if he's fighting out of Fight Ready with Henry Cejudo, Frankie Saenz, and guys like that he works out with night in and night out.
Well, I had the pleasure of talking to this guy earlier. He actually had a little bit of falling out with Fight Ready. He's trained out of Knockout Fitness in Surprise. And the funny thing about this guy is he is a two-time state runner-up from Mesquite High School out here in Arizona. And I was a runner-up in high school, stayed out here. Two-time state runner-up, wrestled at Pima College. I wrestled at Pima College. Then he went on to Grand Canyon University. I went on to Lock Haven, but this guy's got a pretty stellar wrestling pedigree, yes.
Is he your mini-me, Jamie?
I'm seeing a lot of similarities. Okay. There's definitely some parallels going on between him and myself, but two-time state runner-up, wrestled at Pima Community College with our former champion, Joe Yeager, and then also wrestled at Grand Canyon University with the likes of R.C. LaHaye. R.C. LaHaye used to go and help the guys train over at the MMA Lab there in Glendale. Tough dude. Clearly, he's got the wrestling background, but, I mean, Kyler Phillips is no joke at 4-0. That's a tough debut to be making.
Absolutely. So, Jamie, are you saying if this young man grow a sweet beard like you, he could almost be the next Jamie Barner? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I would like to think that my physique is a little bit better, but yes, we do have some parallels. We have a lot of things in common, being a former wrestler.
And now on the crimson canvas, his opponent, Kyler Phillips.
Taking a look at 20-year-old Kyler Phillips, and guys, John Crouch behind him, literally one of the best coaches in the game. We're spoiled here in Arizona with Aaron Simpson, with John Crouch, with Trevor Lally, with Roland from Fight Ready.
Jamie Barner,
really great
Jamie
coaches.
Barner.
Jamie, you got Shannon Rich coaching people now, the Cannon. I mean, some really elite coaches. But guys, John Crouch, as you know, Jamie, you've trained at the MMA Lab. People rave about him and his techniques. We know he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. We know about that, but we know John is also a very cerebral coach. He's great at putting game plans together. And Kyler Phillips is kind of like Play-Doh in his hands right now at 20 years old, and there's probably no better hands that he could be in at this point.
Well, iron sharpens iron. We said that earlier. That's the same thing with the boys over at Power MMA. If you're a lighter weight fighter, you go to the lab. If you're a 145, 155, 170-pound fighter, you go to the lab. If you're in the 125, 135, then maybe 145, you go to Fight Ready. So he's at the right camp. He's got a lot of good guys. Former world champion Benson Henderson. You got Joe Riggs that's in his corner. I mean, there's so many tough guys. I mean, I can go on and on by how many UFC fighters are at the lab, but it's a great gym, great camp, and I see a lot of big things for this kid being 4-0. Maybe he's the kid that's number 50 to go to the UFC.
You never know. Clayton Carpenter was supposed to be his opponent. People think he might be number 50, but Kyler Phillips, a jiu-jitsu world champion, being trained by a world-class Gracie-trained jiu-jitsu black belt in John Crouch, and working with guys like Benson Henderson day in and day out. Drakkar Close, the Rage in the Cage 155-pound champion, fights out of there as well. A tremendous gym, guys, the MMA Lab.
I mean, like you said before, one of the top in the world, and we've seen quality competitor after quality competitor come out of there. And you know, one thing I've noticed, they'll have great attitudes too. I think that's John Krause and his nice personality, his cerebral approach, filtering down through the athletes. And so we see balanced, well-trained fighters with good attitudes, and I think that's why they make it so far.
Absolutely. And John Crouch just promotes positivity. That's one of the big difference makers, one of the biggest differences between him and Trevor and all those guys at Arizona Combat Sports. Trevor uses negative reinforcement to help his fighters get better. John Crouch is a very positive man. I mean, he's just very positive. He promotes kindness, and he inspires you to want to get better. You never leave that gym feeling down and out. He does a good job making everybody feel good going into their fights.
All right, guys, as we get set for Marcos Escalante and Kyler Phillips, let's go to the cage for the intros and Ramblin' Ralph.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the next attraction of the evening. Three-minute rounds of MMA action in the featherweight division. Sponsored by Coach's Corner Grill, voted the #1 sports bar in Phoenix by USA Today. And in the cage, the man controlling the crimson canvas, referee Al Gaini. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He is an orthodox fighter, standing 5 feet 7 inches tall. He weighed in officially at 144.8 pounds, representing Ready and Rugged Wrestling, and fighting out of Mesa, Arizona, Marcos Escalante. And his opponent fighting out of the red corner. He is a freestyle fighter, standing 5 feet 8 inches tall. He weighed in officially at 145.4 pounds, representing MMA Lab, and fighting out of Temecula, California, representing Glendale, Arizona, Kyler Phillips. Once again, referee Al Gaini for instructions.
Gentlemen, we've been over the rules. Just have a good, clean fight. Touch gloves if you like. Go back to your corners, get ready to fight.
Kyler Phillips, the #1 135-pounder in the state, against Marcos Escalante. The debut for Escalante, who took the fight on a week's notice. A little bit of an age difference there. Phillips, of course, really young at 20. And he is the Jiu-Jitsu world champion. This fight presented by Coach's Corner Grill. Marcos Escalante, Kyler Phillips. And here they come to the center of the cage. This one's exciting in our amateur division, but taking the fight on a week's notice, guys, against a guy like Kyler Phillips, you really have to give Escalante a lot of credit.
This is a very unique matchup for me because one of them is a wrestler, the other one's a world champion jiu-jitsu guy, but the wrestler's taking some heavy leather. I mean, he just ate 2 hard shots, 3 hard shots, knees, punches. I mean, it's the striking that's going to make the difference in this fight.
Escalante got drilled with a couple of big knees to the midsection, made that gesture to show that he wasn't hurt, which usually means you are.
And we're seeing a couple of shots here. They're being shrugged off really easily by Kyler Phillips. And he actually has a karate background. He showed us a spinning hook kick or spinning back kick earlier. And he has a little bit different movement, a little more foot movement. And he's winning the stand-up game as well. I mean, this has a win for him all over it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just not seeing very dominant wrestling here by Marcos Escalante. I mean, it seems like the striking and the wrestling defense is really the difference maker. Those body shots
Big
are hurt.
shots landed by Phillips again and again to Escalante. The rest of the body, now some big punches coming down as well. And Al Gaini covers up Marcos Escalante. A brutal finish and a victory for Kyler Phillips. And a little showmanship to go with it, Jamie Varner.
Oh, he sucked the landing 1 foot. All right, wow, that was an impressive fight. I mean, it was the wrestling defense and the striking that was the difference maker in this fight. I mean, Escalante is clearly the more decorated wrestler, but it didn't even play a factor in this fight as opposed to the last fight where the wrestling was the difference maker. I mean, he just wasn't able to get the fight down to the ground, but even if he got the fight down to the ground, I don't know if he really wanted that fight on the ground. We're going against a world champion jiu-jitsu ace like Kyler Phillips. Really impressive. I saw a lot of good things from this guy. I saw some untraditional things that I don't normally see from lab guys. Normally I see lab guys do a lot of the point fighting on the outside. He went straight forward, throwing hard shots, punches, kicks, knees, wasn't dancing around the outside. I didn't see very much of a Ben Henderson-esque type fight. This guy went right for it, got in his face, threw punches, didn't care about his wrestling, and made the fight happen.
There you hear it from Jamie Varner. A big win for Kyler Phillips, who is now 5-0 as an amateur. Let's get the official word in the cage from Ramblin' Ralph.
Ladies and gentlemen, official time. 1 minute, 5 seconds of the very first round. Referee Al Guiney calls the halt to the bout. Your winner by way of TKO, Kyler Phillips.
Kyler Phillips, the victory. A very happy young fighter as he is congratulated by his opponent. Here's Jimmo.
Kyler, right? Matrix. That's your nickname, Matrix? Yeah. All right. Listen, right from the get-go, it was obvious that he was outmatched. Were you planning to take it to the ground? I know you're a world champion jiu-jitsu player. I know you have a bit of a karate background. What were you looking to do coming in here as a game plan?
I'm just looking to have fun, to be honest. I'm just working, getting better. Just want to get better. That's all I'm here for, so. Where's my family at? Everybody, are you guys here? What's up? I love you guys. I love everybody from the MMA Lab. We got a real, true team. Everybody pushes each other, not just that, but we actually care about each other and we truly love each other. It's not about ourselves, it's about the team, you know?
You come from a great gym, and it's obvious that you have a lot of love there. You have a lot of fans in the crowd. Go ahead, what do you want to say, my man?
Hey, Chris, happy birthday. I love you, dude.
Let's hear it for your winner, Kyler Phillips.
Kyler Phillips with a dominating performance here tonight and a victory. Jamie Varner at Rage in the Cage 180 over Marcos Escalante, and you give Escalante a lot of credit for taking that fight here tonight on 1 week's notice. We're